Greetings, Earthlets. It is I, Doktor Von Evil Dude, returned from my holidays on Zorbulus 5. But I'm back here, and it's the penultimate new release of the year. So, without further ado, let's take a look, shall we? Up first, from Boom Studios, we have Buffy, the Last Vampire Slayer. Can a lone slayer save what's left of humanity? Buffy Summers is the last slayer. Now in her 50s, she wages a one-woman fight against the forces of darkness, who prey on humanity in the daylight, unimpeded thanks to a magical catastrophe that nearly blotted out the sun. The same disaster robbed Buffy of her friends and ended the Slayer line, forcing her into an endless guerrilla war. That is, until she stumbles across something she hasn't seen in a long, long time. Hope, in the form of a prophecy, and the young girl who carries it. The multiverse explodes, bringing you a dystopian tale of Buffy Summers with a story of the likes you've never read before. And now moving along to DC Comics with their first new release of Batgirls. I didn't actually think we'd keep you waiting this entire year without giving you a Batgirl series. We've all been wanting one forever, right? We love you too much, just like the Batgirls Cassandra Cain and Stephanie Brown, who are only able to navigate the dark and gritty and oft-times scary city of Gotham by leaning on the bright light that is their best friendship. Mentored by the Oracle, the Batgirls move to the outer side of town, where Barbara Gordon can keep a better eye on them, while their hacker, Seer, is still invading their lives. Steph may be too rash sometimes, and Cass doesn't speak much, but what they lack in similarities, they make up for with their mutual respect and love for each other. And what makes them stronger together as Batgirls? They may be good at kicking ass, but they are just trying their best to be normal teenagers who'll borrow the keys to a muscle car that belong to a bad guy and perhaps give it a joyride around town without a driver's license, then race to get back home to the Oracle by curfew. Splashing the pages with bright colours against the dark backdrop of Gotham, Batgirls is the pizza slumber party of the year you won't want to miss. Staying with DC Comics, 'tis the season to be freezing. Oh, the weather outside is freezing, but these stories sure are pleasing. So since you've got no place to go, why not grab a sweater, pour a cup of hot cocoa, and stoke the fire? Because these 10 tales are sure to lower the mercury. Join us as Harley Quinn and Blue Snowman ice out Hawkman. Batman fights the cold heart of Mr. Freeze. The JLQ don't stand a snowball's chance against Mr. Blizzard. And the Flash and Superman team up to chill out Captain Cold. So warm your holiday heart with these freezing feats of frosty fiction. And moving on to Marvel Comics, up first we have Devil's Reign. The story that's been building for years is finally here. Wilson Fisk went from kingpin to mayor of the biggest city in America, and is going to bring his full criminal and political powers to bear on the superheroes who call New York City home. The man who once destroyed Daredevil has set his sights on the Fantastic Four, Iron Man, Captain America, Spider-Man, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, and more. And since it's Fisk, once he takes them all down, you know who's going to sign it. Crossbones, Taskmaster, Typhoid Mary, Shocker, Whiplash, Rhino, Kraven. Fisk has an army of supervillains at his command, and this is just the opening salvo. For years, Fisk has waited for this time to strike, and you won't believe the aces he's got up his sleeves. Up next from Marvel, we have Wastelander's Wolverine. The supervillains united and took out most of the world's superheroes decades ago, and while the man known as Logan attempted to live a life of peace, he had to pop the claws out once again to do what he does best. But But saving the day looks different with the baby Hulk under his care. Is Logan doing the right thing by protecting the offspring of the Hulk, or dooming what's left of the war-torn world? Logan may not have long to ponder if he is crushed by the adamantium armor of his newfound enemy, Downfall. This all-new story of Wolverine in the days after the conclusion of the original Old Man Logan, as he fights once again to save the people of the Wastelands, who have been crushed under the heel of the Red Skull and Bruce Banner. And finally this week, an independent comic title by one of our very own customers. That's right. If you were here on Free Comic Book Day, you probably got a card for a new series called Digital. Well, I am happy to announce that it is here in physical format, ready to be purchased by you Earthlets. The last 3 humans who have yet to be enslaved stare down at Earth from space. To return would mean certain death. Their only option is what lies beyond. This is the start of an epic journey for our characters Aisha, Bear and Noose, 3 strangers who are desperate to avoid capture on an Earth that has been overrun and devastated by the technology it once relied on and so arrogantly took for granted. Issue 1 drops you right into the battlefield as we quickly become aware of how desperate their plight has become. And this is the platform we want you to join our trio, knowing as much as they do about each other, and see the beginnings of what they can be. Well, Earthlets, on this penultimate new release week of the year, we've got some brilliant major hitters and something special you'll not get anywhere else. So, as always, don't forget, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and follow us across all social media with the tag at Comics-616. So until next week, which unfortunately, or possibly fortunately, will be our final video of the year. Until then...